Welcome back to my channel Kishore Sir Ki Pathshala. We are doing chapter metals and non-metals 10 Cbse. So let's see today's topic. So last time also we have seen what is ore all about, right? Minerals which contains a very high percentage of a particular metal, and the metal can be profitably extracted, right? These minerals are called as ore. Okay. Now, once you get the ore, we require a particular metal. And we know depending upon the reactivity of the metals, right, the separation techniques are different. Okay. So here we have the flow chart, so which tells us how these metals are separated, like metals of high reactivity. Okay, metals of high reactivity, medium reactivities are there, and metals with low reactivities are there. Okay, so how these are separated? So let's see one by one. So first of all, we require enrichment of ore. Means what? Means that if I have got this ore, okay, then for example, I have got 100% of this ore. Out of that, you'll see that lot of things will be impurity. Okay, lot of things will be impurity will be there, right? I need to separate this impurity from this ore, right? To get the maximum of the metal which I require. Okay, so for that, what I need to do, ores mined from the earth are usually contaminated with large amount of impurities. What are these impurities? These impurities are nothing but soil, sand, etc. will be there. Okay, and these are called as gang, right? So, what is gang all about? It is nothing but it is a large amount of impurities such as soil, sand, right, which is there, and that is called as gang. So we need to separate this. So these impurities must be removed prior to the extraction of the metal. Right? Before we go and extract the metal, we need to remove this impurity. So there are various different methods to remove this gang. So the process used for removing the gang from the ore are based on the different, that is the physical and the chemical properties of the gang and the ore. Right. So different separation techniques are used accordingly. For example, there is a magnetic separation method. For example, gravity is being used, right, to separate this gang. Okay. So after separating this gang, what we are going to do, we are going further to extract this metals. Now let's see, once the gang is removed, how this extraction takes place. Now extracting metals low in the activity series. Okay. So which are there in the lower in the activity series? Let's see how we are going to attract it. So metals low in the activity series are very unreactive. Okay. So they are unreactive. So what I see is that the oxides of these metals can be reduced to metals by heating alone. So if I have the oxides of these metals, what I need to do? I need to heat them, right? Okay, I need to reduce them. By reducing, what will happen? By reducing, what will happen is that I will get the metal as such. Okay. For example, if you see this cinnabar, that is my HGS, is one of the ore of the mercury. When it is heated, what we get? We first get mercuric oxide. Okay, here you see we have HGS. So what we have done, we are heating it. Means what we are doing, we are reacting it with oxygen. Once we react with oxygen, what is happening is that we are getting corresponding oxide. That is the mercuric oxide, and sulfur dioxide gas is given out. Right. Now, once we get this oxide, what we need to do? We need to reduce this. Right. Means what? We need to remove the oxygen. right? If you heat it further, what we get? We get mercury and oxygen gas, right? Similarly, if you see copper, which is found in my copper sulfide in nature, is obtained from the ore just by heating in air, right? So here you see what we have done. We have reacted this with oxygen and you get copper oxide, right? And sulfur dioxide gas is released. Okay. Then you see further the reaction takes place when we heat this and you get pure copper and sulfur dioxide gas is released. So now let's see how the extraction of metals in the middle of the activity series takes place. Now the metals in the middle of the activity series, such as very important metals such as iron, zinc, lead and copper, are moderately reactive, right? So you see that these are usually present in what? In the sulfides and the carbonates in nature. Okay, which forms? They are present in the carbonates or sulfides like zinc carbonate, iron sulfide, right? So it is easier to obtain a metal from its oxide as compared to sulfide and carbonates we have seen earlier. So what we are going to do? We are going to convert the sulfides or carbonate into the corresponding oxides and then we are going to reduce that, right? So we'll get the metal. Now let's see the techniques of reducing this uh, ores. So now prior to reduction, the sulfide ores are converted into oxide, right? How? By heating strongly in the presence of excess of air. So we are heating it in the presence of air, right? So this process is known as roasting. Okay, roasting is nothing but what we are doing. The sulfide ore we are converting into oxide. Here you see zinc sulfide is there. Okay, excess of oxygen is there. Means what? Full combustion, complete combustion is happening. And what we are getting here is that we are getting zinc oxide. Here we get zinc oxide and sulfur dioxide gas is released. Right. So this process is called as roasting. Right. We need to remember roasting what it's all about. Let's see the another process what it is. The another process is called as calcination. Now the calcination involves what? The carbonate ores are changed into oxides by heating strongly in limited air. Right? Okay. So the oxygen supply is very much limited. And this process is called as calcination. Right? So here you see zinc carbonate is there. Okay, we heat it and what we get? We get zinc oxide and carbon dioxide gas is released. Now this is the calcination of zinc ores. The metal oxides are then reduced. Once you get this oxide, then they are reduced to corresponding metals using suitable reducing agent. You can take a suitable reducing agent like carbon, right? When the zinc oxide is heated with carbon, it is reduced to metallic zinc, right? It is reduced to metallic zinc. Like this way, the calcination process is also taking place. Now, obtaining metals from the compound is also a reduction process, right? What we are doing besides this carbon, to reduce the metal oxide to metals, what we are doing, we are using a displacement reaction. So we all know that a highly reactive metal will displace the less reactive metal from its salt. Okay, so that process we are using here. The highly reactive metals like we have sodium, calcium, aluminum are used as what? As a reducing agent. Okay, so what they are doing, why they are used as a reducing agent? Because they can displace metals of lower reactivity from their compounds. We know that, right? So for example, if you see manganese dioxide is heated with aluminum powder, right? Then the following reaction takes place. Here you have manganese dioxide and we have aluminum here. Okay. Now what happened is that you'll see that manganese aluminum will now reduce this manganese dioxide, right? And what you'll get? You'll get manganese, you'll get aluminum oxide, okay, and tremendous amount of heat is generated. So this displacement reaction is a highly exothermic reaction. That's the reason you will see that manganese we get it is in the liquid form, right? So manganese is reduced and aluminium is oxidized. Okay. On this, we have a very good application of this process. This process is called as what? Is called as Thermate reaction, right? A very important reaction, which is a Thermate reaction, is there, which is used to join the railway tracks or cracked machine parts. In which what we are doing? We are reacting iron oxide with aluminium, right? Here you see we have got iron oxide, okay, and what we are doing? We are reacting it with aluminium, right? Now this is a displacement reaction which is taking place, which is a highly exothermic reaction, right? Here you see between the cracks what we require a molten iron, right? Okay, for that the temperature should be very high. As this reaction is a highly exothermic reaction, what will happen? The iron what we are getting is in the liquid form, right? So that goes between the cracks, okay, and we are getting aluminum oxide, and here tremendous amount of heat is generated. Because of that, this iron goes between the cracks and the cracks are filled. This process is called as Thermate reaction. So students, I am sure you have understood today's topic. So kindly like, share and subscribe my channel Kishore Sir Ki Pathshala for more informative videos.